Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's offering of Teaching Tuesday, presented to you by Raise Your Hand. As organizers, we feel like it is important to connect with you. So whether you receive our newsletters, if you are on our outreach list for other campaigns, um, however you engage with us. If you are not already following us on social media, I hope that you will. Today we are broadcasting live across Facebook, YouTube, and X app, formerly Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. My name is Natasha. I am happy to be on with y'all. I'm the director here at Raise Your Hand. Above all, I am an organizer. I came into this space. I'm a CPS K through 12 alum, and my daughter graduated from the district in 2021. And during her time in the district, just really organized with the other parents around the needs in our school. And one action or campaign leads to another, and I find that spaces like this, these teach-ins where we can come in and have a quick conversation about what's going on in the district, how you can advocate for your child, share this information, share this live. We just wanted to create a space for those of you who are busy on the go, and give another opportunity to tap into what's happening around Chicago public schools. Um, and so, yeah, glad that you all can join us. If you're able to share this live, repost with others that are CPS parents, particularly those who are advocating around racial justice, resource equity in this moment. So I want to hand it off. Kendra, do you want to, share a bit about who you are? And I'm curious, for the check-in for today, I think we're talking about what brought you to the organizing space.
I'm Kendra. I am a parent organizer with Raise Your Hand. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmom. Um, and what brought me to the organizing space is just seeing things so misproperly done, if misproperly is a word. It was I just seen all the wrong things in the school and wanted to be a part of the right things going on for our kids. So um, I am a community advocate, have been in my neighborhood for a very long time. And I just wanted to put that energy into the schools. Yeah.
That's real. All right. Let's see. I think we have a good lineup to talk about today. I will say some of it may be a bit triggering. So, we definitely want to lift up topics that come to us from parents. And today's topics might be triggering for a myriad of reasons. Despite the difficulty in having this conversation, or these, what we're going to talk, some of what we're going to talk about today, definitely encourage that if you need to step away from this. And like I said, these are lives, these will always be out and available on our YouTube, Facebook, and on X. And of course, if you ever need to talk to any of our organizers, we will make ourselves available to help advocate for, um, the resources that you need, and support from a policy perspective. So I just wanted to, Kendra, before we jump into some discussion, I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the LSC election timeline.
Cool.
All right, what you all should, I'm going to remove the banner so that you can fully see the screen here. Um, so the ability to apply for the LSC candidacy, that and to apply to be an election judge, that opportunity Those have passed. And so, what is next on the timeline is if you need language accommodations or ASL support, essentially language justice for the upcoming LSC candidate forums, you can request that. So, if you're in a multilingual school, or you have, no matter what the request is, the school should be able to make those accommodations so that parents can fully participate in that candidate forum and communicate to the school community. You do that by submitting your request to the school's principal. Some schools have what's called an election coordinator. You will send it to them in a written format. Would be my suggestion, and then maybe also follow up to the school with a call to make sure that they receive that request. There's no form to do it, so it can be simple as the sentences needed to communicate the need. But definitely want to do that by this Friday. And then next up is that LSE candidate forum. So by now, if you are a candidate, you should have received from your principal or the election coordinator um, the dates for the candidate forum. So between the dates of March 11th and 19th, all schools that have a public election are LSE election are going to have a candidate forum. It can be a mix of in-person, hybrid, as long as there's an opportunity for all candidates to be able to address. So if it is a hybrid event and you aren't able to be in person, you should be able to communicate that to the school administrator or election coordinator and let them know that you'll be participating virtually. Again, everyone should have ample opportunity to participate. Just as for those of you who might be first-time LSE candidates, just a reminder is when you have the candidate form, you'll also get your ballot position number. So that is similar to a punch number, if you will. So if you are a parent rep, there'll be a set of numbers associated with the parent reps. And so you'll be given those ballot position numbers, which you can then use in your candidate literature, tell your friends and family, hey, punch number 2 for me, that type of thing. You'll get that at the candidate forum. And so we won't go too much into all of what is on the screen. Feel free to tap into cps.edu/LSE. And you will have a selection from the menu that can take you to the LSE election timeline. If you aren't already tracking it, we definitely just wanted to share with you the next upcoming opportunities for that language justice and showing up at that LSE candidate forum. And as a reminder, if you would like LSE support as a candidate, if you have questions, if you would like to, maximize your opportunity to win, of course, we would love to meet with you. Our organizers have open office hours and would love to meet with you. So please do reach out, whether it's for LSE module training. So for those LSE members who are currently seated on an LSE, we do have certified community trainers that can provide you support, whether it's at your school, a local library, a community center. We are definitely flexible and have trainers ready on standby to support you. And the same goes for those who are running for candidacy. Please do feel free to email us at info@raiseyourhand. Actually, that should be info@raiseyourhand.org. All right. So looking forward to, supporting everyone and seeing the folks are getting really excited about their upcoming candidacy. I'm curious, Kendra, are you hearing anything or just want to share a reflection about the upcoming LSE election that maybe I forgot or we should mention?
Just hearing how excited parents are. I didn't think that we had that many parents that were that interested, but they're looking for change. So they are ready to run this race. Yep.
Yeah, that's real. Let's see. And I wanted to invite everyone that if you are out there and if you have a question, please feel free. I think you can post questions only on YouTube and Facebook, and we will see it here on our end. Unfortunately, if you're watching us from X, you can drop your question or comment in the chat. And after we are done with the live, we'll have some organizers circle back and reach out. So again, please email us at info@ilraiseyourhand.org, and organizers will be happy to engage with you for the upcoming election. All right, let's pivot. Um, a bit. I know one of the things that we host a monthly parent leaders meeting, and in that monthly parent leaders meeting, conversation around what's going on in the district. So it's an opportunity for organizers to hear from parents, where we talk about what's impacting their family, their student. And we've been hearing some pretty troubling reports around the spike around bullying, the spike around, this whole framework, or what should go under the umbrella of whole school safety, right? That's physical safety. It is emotional safety, to feel safe, to be able to learn. School is a safe haven. It should be. And so hearing these things, we definitely wanted to, bring this forward today and say there are resources. There are definitely conversations that need to be had. If you need support and advocacy, there are policies that the district has that are very straightforward. If you're dealing with the situation of bullying, um, there's a policy that says what the school should do and how they should be transparent in that process to eliminate that harm. And so it sounds like in a lot of school spaces that is not happening, clearly, and parents are growing more frustrated. We are hearing a lot around how this is just resurfacing this lack of trust, that is been a long time, long pole in the tent, if you will, a process gap. So yeah, that's just my initial thoughts that I had on us pivoting into this conversation. Again, I just want to pause before we move further and say that some of this might be triggering for folks. We are going to go and use a little bit of framing around what we see in the CPS Inspector General report that was released in January, just as a reference point for just checking in on this idea of students should feel safe when they're in school, but we see data going in the wrong direction that shows that we need to have conversations and definitely need to advocate for the district to do more. Kendra, any thoughts before we check in?
Yeah, around the data that's going in and if it's going in. That's the main thing. A lot of things that I'm hearing that we've heard in the meetings is that a lot of incidents are not being reported, and there's no actions taken, and we want to know why. I have personally experienced it, action of bullying, and I asked what were the consequences to these things, and no answers. No answers. I was hit with a policy number, but when I looked for it, I didn't get an answer from that. And there are no one is talking about things that are not being reported, things that are not being handled. Where the resources, where are the people that supposed to help our kids feel safe? And sometimes in these schools, I'm hearing parents saying that their kids do not want to go to school because nothing was being done about things that are happening to them. So, like, who do we go to? Who do we talk to about that? How do we fix this? How do we get some type of action um, towards these things because it's unfair. And the last thing we want, I know the last thing I want is a kid not wanting to go to school because their safe a safe space is being tainted. That's the word, tainted. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my thought on it. Just from what I'm hearing, that's from a personal experience, and honestly, the the distrust that we are getting is just growing in the school. Um, when you get half information, when you the staff is not communicating these things, especially um, sexual things that's going on and things that are happening in the schools that some kids are all kids don't know. I don't want to say the wrong words, but all kids are not exposed to the same things, and it's scary to know that these things are not being talked about, that these things are not being handled. I don't know what word to say other than handled, because how do you fix it? How do you correct it? That's the word. How do you correct these things that's going on in the school if no one is talking about it? If the problems are not being, you know, discussed with even the parents of the child that is happening to. No one is even bringing it to light. So I don't know, what do we do? I'm at a loss, and I shouldn't be at a loss.
Yeah, that's real. It's real to feel that way. It's definitely that resonates with many parents who've been saying, look, something needs to change. I know we are at a point where we are doing some intake, reaching out to parents. Parents are reaching out to us. So there's some community tools in terms of bullying that we, can definitely post on our social as a follow up to this, but if I always tell folks, like, there's two things that get CPS's attention, the district's attention. If you are not getting what you need at the school level, I encourage everyone to start at the lowest level. Use the chain of command. But if you there where there is no trust or there's no movement, don't stay in one, space for too long. I would elevate it. The district has policies. They are not optional. They are required they're required. Compliance is mandatory, type of thing. So if there's an issue that you have, particularly around this thing around bullying, like, not reporting bullying is oftentimes, it leads to bigger, because it's ignored. It you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes it turns into something that becomes much more sinister. The harm is, yeah, not to, just be repetitive, but all the things that we know that when unsafe climates, whether it's bullying, whether it's a rape culture, when that is unchecked, it becomes worse, right? So we now see the data points going in the wrong direction. I think that's a reflection of inaction, you know?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And I really um, wonder why, because a lot of the parents that have reached out to us, they talk about um, it, and these are schools. It's some north side schools, south side schools, west side schools, and to learn that it's not just their school that these things are happening and not being reported. I really want to know why from the district are these things are not. I think I said that wrong, but that it's not being reported. Like, it's amazing to me that nobody is talking about it. And then we expect, our kids to talk to us about things, but how can they? If, they don't feel like things will be addressed. So, yeah.
I mean, it's curious because I recall, like in the summer, an example of what's coming up to me is the board of governors at Marine Leadership Academy.
Mhm.
Do you remember the issues they were bringing forth to the board?
Yes.
And I'm curious if that has been resolved. I remember, those parents and young people coming to the board to talk about the year. Let's be clear that it is it made national media that this was a school that had for years ignored the rape culture that had gotten so bad and so out of hand, so disgusting, where it had led to self-harm. It had led to, all of the behaviors that you would think happens in a school with an unchecked or toxic culture. And I recall the BOG kind of saying they didn't get adequate response from the district offices. They said that there were things like they knew that it was being investigated, but there was no follow through. So, like you, I'm curious, like when we use the policy and we report these things and we use that chain of command, there's an expectation that we should see some movement, right?
Okay.
And I think that we are, really alarmed by the recent reports that we've been hearing, where young people don't want to go to school anymore, and there's no one at that school checking for that family to make sure that young person is okay. I think we're at a point. I think we're definitely at a point of emergency where we need to, again, when we're refocusing on what does whole school safety look like. What does keeping young people safe in their place of learning, physical safety, particularly, needs to be a district priority for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, for parents who, I think we have done a lot of work in the past to support, whether it's LSCs who might be struggling with getting information from their principal, right? I'm just kind of thinking about how at the local level, there's a lot that we can do. As LSCs, make yourselves available to your parent and your community, in the public, the school community. That looks like, having your email addresses on your school's website. Have your email addresses accessible somewhere in the school where they can contact you, whether it's a joint email account or individual. I see a lot of schools with individual emails. And I guess I'm saying that because if there's a lack of movement at the school level, the LSC should know that. The LSC evaluates the principal who is supposed to make sure that every student is safe in their places of learning. And so, as a part of that reporting, I think it's, when I was on an LSC, I found that to be very helpful when parents came to us regularly, and staff would come to us regularly and let us know where the process gaps were. And that those things can be used for principal, just evaluation, but also on a monthly basis. Put it on the LSC agenda.
Yes.
You can go into closed session for school safety reasons. Put on your agenda school safety, and if it's a sensitive issue, put the option on there for you to have closed session. Engage with Jadine Chow. I'm going off. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, those are the types of things that you can do. And engage with Jadine Chow, who's the district's chief of safety and security. Engage with the responsible offices, like the Office of Student Protection. The district has a law department that has investigations, a part of this process to root out bad actors in the schools.
Did you call them bad actors?
I was trying to be, I try to be, PC.
Hmm. But that's exactly what it is, bad acting, because you're not performing well at all. And it's disheartening and it's unfair, and we have to change that, honestly.
It was mentioned, I think we were talking about this in our recent LSC trainer meeting, where, it was like we wanted to dig into just the issues that are coming up that LSC members, particularly parents, are bringing to us, right? And all of this is like cleanly codified in the laid out in the CPS Inspector General report. If you haven't read through it, I mean, I would tell you, you might have to set it aside and come back to it for another year. The lengthiest section of this report are the investigation into inappropriate conduct that stems from grooming to an actual sex act. um, that is a significant chunk of this report. And though it might be difficult to read, I think it's important for parents to know what type of investigative, report, or excuse me, what's in this report. I think as it relates to our students, and we should use it, quite honestly, to advocate to the board, like to tell us more. What are they doing for these schools that fail to report?
Yeah.
What is the cause? What is the, what is the recourse um, for all of this, for the young people who have already stopped going to school and who are behind? All of it from tip to tail needs to be, someone needs to lean in on this. And I think as we'll just continue to organize, Kendra, and I think support parents and LSCs with that push for answers and action.
Yeah, we have to, because I mean, just not knowing and then having to personally deal with it. It's like, what do we do? So we can only push to get that answer, and we will.
Yeah,
I'm pushy.
we definitely will. I can, let's see, I can drop in the chat this report, but you can do a Google search. You can search CPS OIG 2023 report. So it comes out in February of 24, report for 2023. And you should be able to find a link to it. I am dropping it in chat. Again, if you are on YouTube and Facebook, that chat will come up and is accessible in the comment. One other area that that I wanted to, like, as we were looking at this report and really using it again to bounce off and explore opportunities to engage the district around these issues, right? So it started with parent reports. We were using this report to see what we can piece from this. And we're really in the developing stages of how to create like a campaign around this, because it's needed, it's persisted, and I think that we really are at a point where we're talking about whole school safety, and what that looks like in the next months and years. That this should be a priority. One other piece was the JROTC. Now, JROTC is one of those, programs that was always touted to be this best thing that young people love, but the students love it. And we, that also in this report, when you read through it, I think we mentioned this a couple of teach-ins ago, but it's also in this report where the IG, the Inspector General, has been monitoring JROTC enrollment, and it has dropped significantly. And it lays out their investigation. Essentially, high schools were were forcing the young people into JROTC. Some schools totally got rid of their PE teachers so that the only options would be JROTC.
Yep.
And this has, I believe, a racist, history of, if young people aren't in jail, which is a school to prison pipeline, which we also struggle with in CPS, that they're in the military. And so this when we started to see the reduction of career technical education, or CTE, in our schools, and the expansion of JROTC. Really think that it's important for folks to track this. If you have JROTC in your school there and you are interested in maybe bringing in CTE opportunities, again, the trades that young folks have been asking for. There are rules in the contract that says if your JROTC enrollment falls below, I believe it's 10% of the school enrollment, that there's a process to decommission that JROTC. If you are in a lot of the schools are small schools, I'd be curious, if that is being adhered to. I know at least one school has decommissioned their JROTC due to low enrollment, and that was Hirsch over the last, I think, school year or two. I believe in the last year. So that's an example of, if you all are looking for CTE opportunities, if you're on an LSE, put it on the agenda, talk to your principal. I won't say put it on the agenda as a first step, but talk to your principal, talk to other LSE members on how you can advocate for career opportunities versus the JROTC pipeline. That if you just follow the national trends, there is an overall drop in interest in JROTC at the high school level, ROTC in college, and military enlistment is at historic lows. So following all the signals, career technical and trades, we're in a global movement city, where we should be, have transportation options. We should have, much more robust opportunities around engineering. What else is there? There's culinary arts. We're in a global foodie city. The young folks who have those programs in their schools across the city love them, and we should see them expanded, particularly across opportunity gap schools that serve students that are furthest from the opportunities. That's my rant about JROTCs. Was there anything else that was in the report that we wanted to check in on, Kendra?
No, I wanted to add to that, but I won't, because I agree, and I will be repeating most of the things that you said. But yes, that no, other than just no, because we'll be on for another 2 hours if I did. So no.
Oh, good. Yeah. So let's see. Before I guess we prepare to wrap up, I think today is really an opportunity for us to, we invite you to have some tough discussions. Our organizers, again, are talking to parents who are, who have concerns. We're in the process of reaching out to some of our community partners to bring some programming that you can anticipate seeing, that follow us on social media, where we'll be sharing opportunities to join spaces, but not just come to us. We are looking to also bring resources to you. So if you have an LSC meeting and you want to create an opportunity to have a community presentation, it can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just a way to engage your school community, reach out, whether it is us to come to be there in solidarity and to provide some tips, but also to connect you with some community resources. We'll be pulling that together, particularly around bullying, to get some work, like I said, some aid around that. And if you, again, for all of the student safety needs, if you have an issue or complaint where your complaint has not been, what do you call it, Kendra? Reported, yeah, hasn't been acted on, like, definitely reach out. We are, taking opportunities to build with folks so that we can impress on the district to do better. I think that's all I have for today, but definitely want to, create space that if there's anything else you wanted to just mention or plug before we get on. Again, we're not here to be long. We want to have a conversation and then get to the work. Did I miss anything?
No, ma'am.
We good?
We good.
All right. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate you. We will be in touch. Stay tuned to our social media where you will see our upcoming opportunities to engage. Our upcoming event is one that I really want to highlight for you is the Let's Talk About It, the elected representative school board. Elections will be held in November of 2024. We're anticipating that the Illinois House and Senate will be passing all of the appropriate bills to move this process forward in their next convening, I believe early next month, which is like next week. So the next time they're in session, we anticipate all of the loose ends or frills to be presented and voted so that we can, talk about the process of Chicago's first elected school board. For those of us in the community who've been a part of this long fight to get us here, we are going to host a series of programming, candidate support, voter education, and engagement, and invite you to join us on our next opportunity to do that, March 12th. It will be held virtually on Zoom. We'll tune into our social media and we'll drop that graphic and a link for you to register. Until soon, if you don't do anything else, take care of yourself, be well, take care, and then we'll see you soon. Take care, y'all. Peace.